is changing thanks to AI. And this AI revolution that we are in is completely changing not just how we work, but how businesses operate and how different business roles themselves are completely being transformed. And how do you keep up with this transformation? That's what today's panel is all about. We have 4 executives, very talented, experienced professionals in today's Drivers of Reinvention panel that we have, that's being brought in association with Accenture and Times Techies. We have with us Ujjwal Jyoti. He's the Managing Director and GCC Sales Lead for Accenture in India. We have Vikas Malik, Executive Technology for NAB Innovation Center India. We have Pankaj Jain. He's the Partner Director and Head of Microsoft Office Suite and AI. He's also the Center Head for Microsoft IDC Noida. And last, we have Amit Sakhuja. He's the Managing Director for Commercial and Institutional Technology at NatWest India. NatWest is also a big bank out of the UK. So why don't we jump into this discussion? Why don't we start a little bit with the big picture, frame the role that GCCs have today. Ujjwal, do you want to help us understand? Accenture has been a pioneer in establishing its India Center as a global capability center that drives reinvention and innovation. While I was here, they were telling me just how many offices you have spread across India. It's, for those who don't know, it's a lot of offices, I think in 15 different locations. It's not small. So could you help us elaborate on how Accenture in India leverages its talent pool, your advanced data capabilities, AI technologies, to serve as that innovation backbone for a global organization? And how does this translate into tangible business outcomes and competitive advantages?
So GCC of today is no longer an extended workbench. It is also a reinvention engine, or something like an HQ2, which is very deeply aligned with the business, the parent, always in the lookout of adding more value, and truly in terms of becoming an innovation arm of and we have some of our distinguished leaders continually looking for experimenting and doing things more simpler, more effective. Accenture, while we advise, we are also one of the largest GCC. We have made some of the biggest investments in making sure India technology and operations capability not just remain a talent at scale play, but innovation at scale play. We have one of our largest innovation hubs set up in Bangalore, Hyderabad, and many other cities who continually look for doing 2 or 3 things. Looking at areas which, for our clients and ourselves, how can we do things more faster, more simpler? One, how can we become almost like a harvesting point where we have a very widespread sense on business problems, technology problems, and how do we kind of come up, co-innovate, co-invest, co-ideate, and co-create with our clients, with our ecosystem partners, and add more and more value to our client and to our parent. So that makes us one of the largest and most successful GCC, which has allowed us to stay, in most cases, ahead of the curve. But that knowledge capital that we had done for ourselves, when we see the GCC business, I was reading some of the predictions that the GCC, there is a big uptake, and there'll be like currently from 1,600 there'll be a 3,000 GCCs in next 3 to 5 years. We have brought in and formalized our GCC pitch, and we are one of the market leaders in this. We help our clients in strategy when they start to think whether they should think of a GCC in India. What gets retained versus what get outsourced versus what gets coded in the GCC, and what's the value case that we have. We start from there. We help them design and set up, and we help them optimize. And we help them in this entire journey. We not just bring the power of our talent, but we embed them with our technology so that the talent becomes even more successful, even more powerful. When you actually talk about the ability to experiment for the engineers, none of the engineers want to work now on the third grade Jira tickets. They want to work on things which are complex, that gives them that whole feel of they are doing something more meaningful. And once you bring all the innovation, it's a very widely used term, but when the innovation becomes center and in the DNA, that's when it does two things. It allows the GCC not just to attract the talent, but also retain the talent. And once you combine the power of the whole innovation, that's when you start delivering value to the enterprise. And that's what we do, helping our clients live this journey so that they become the drivers of reinvention, which is the theme of this panel. And we are doing it very, very successfully.
I want to come back later to that point about meaningfulness, how employees working at these GCCs really find this fulfilling, right? I think younger generation especially, I think that's important.
Yep.
For them. Going on, Amit, this is for you next. Reflecting on your 10-year journey with NatWest, how would you describe your transformative experience with the organization? NatWest started 10 years ago, right? In what ways has NatWest successfully positioned itself at the forefront of this industry? How does it effectively drive value and make significant strides in this complex landscape of transformation initiatives?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's been a truly amazing journey that I have had with the NatWest Group over the last 10 years. And by the way, NatWest in India has been around for more than 100 years. I have been with the NatWest India Group for the last 10 years. And I think
NatWest has been here for 100 years.
More than 100 years.
Because they were doing business.
Doing business.
Business, yeah.
So RBS, they were.
Yeah. So I think as I think about my time in NatWest Group over the last 10 years, I see remarkable transformation, right? And that has helped NatWest Group to be in a very strong position that they are in today. So if you look at our three businesses, we have retail banking business, we have commercial and institutional, and we have private wealth business. All the three businesses are growing. We have a very strong capital position. We have very low impairment numbers, and very recently we got fully privatized as a bank. So there is now zero shareholding that UK government has, which clearly showcases our bold ambition and confidence going into the market. Now, I think I would highlight some of the key milestones which are related to transformation over my last 10-year journey. And I remember it has to start with automation using RPA. RPA is robotics process automation. So I remember in 2017, we implemented the first RPA bots to automate the mortgage underwriting process. Ujjwal, you would remember that. And then during the COVID time in 2020, we scaled up those RPA bots to help our customers who were facing financial difficulty. So that's a perfect example of how technology can help with solving real human needs. So that's one. Cloud transformation is another big milestone I should highlight. I think NatWest is one of the very first UK banks who have built modern and large-scale big data warehousing capabilities on public cloud platform. So we have our credit risk data platform built on AWS. On the NatWest Markets side, NatWest Markets is the investment banking arm of NatWest Group. So on the NatWest Markets side, we have modernized our market data, trade data, and risk management capabilities on Google Cloud Platform. And I think by moving to public cloud, we have essentially improved scalability. We have reduced cost. We have been able to bring agility to our operations. So cloud transformation has been something which has been a major milestone. Then I think moving on, we have made significant advances in data engineering and data science capabilities, which have helped us to deliver personalization for our customers at scale, right? And very recently, we announced a 5-year strategic partnership with Accenture and AWS, and this is to essentially modernize our data and AI capabilities, and this will help us to essentially understand our customer needs better and be able to react to those faster. So that's another big milestone. The next one has to be AI and Gen AI. So there has been a massive adoption of AI capabilities into our bank. We have more than 100 use cases which are currently running in the bank. We have Cora Plus, which is our customer-facing chatbot, which handled around, if I remember the numbers correctly, it handled 11 million customer conversations last year. And in the first half of this year, it has handled around 7 million customer conversations, right? And more than half of them have been resolved by the bot independently without any human intervention, right? Then I think we have made the AI capabilities like Copilot available to all the employees in the bank. So our operations team are using it for fraud reduction. Our technologists are using these AI tools to generate the code automatically. And we also have relationship managers who we are providing AI assisted summaries of the customer calls, because when we provide them those summaries, it's a time saver for them, and they can use that time for other high value added activities. Right? And then I think we also have some of the very cool experiments which are going on, which are customer facing pilots, things like personalized financial coaching. Then we have things like real time humanized voice assistant. These are some of the experiments that are going on. Yeah, I think if I think about the partnerships, I think we are one of the first UK banks, or we are the first UK bank to forge a partnership with OpenAI, right? And this provides us access to some of the latest models from OpenAI, which we can use to really, power the high value use cases in the bank. And I think I mentioned to you earlier that we have very recently appointed a Chief AI Research Officer in the bank, and which indicates that we are quite serious about innovation. And just one last thing which I do want to highlight, which is also a very important milestone, is that none of this would be possible if we would not have invested in talent and building a strong culture. So we invest heavily in upskilling and reskilling our employees. We also ensure that we build a culture of inclusion and well-being. I think that's very central, and we have got repeated certifications on great places to work, and we were in fact one of the top 50 in best places to work for women. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far.
What about your non-technical staff, like I don't know, sales or someone in HR or something? Do they also get access to all your Copilot and all your AI tools?
Yes, so we have around more than 60,000 employees in the bank. As I mentioned, that we have made these tools like Copilot available to all these people in the bank.
And are they finding use with it, the non-technical?
Very much, absolutely. So as an example that I just gave was that our operations team are using these tools to, they have used these tools to massively reduce fraud. That's an example. But yeah, it is used across the board.
That financial literacy part that you were talking about, that sounds very interesting, or the financial coaching.
Yes.
I think most people are, especially younger people, might be a little bit ignorant in exactly what to do with money, how to deal with it, how to make it double itself. I'm sure that could be useful.
So GCCs in most cases, they are cutting down a lot of silos that exist in the enterprise, especially the ones which have existed for many, many decades, because the kind of cross-sectional view that they have in an enterprise. What they typically do, they continually harvest, say, a business problem or a technology problem, which the enterprise is finding it difficult to solve. And you know what? I mean, a lot of that is getting solved in the GCCs. I mean, and GCCs are almost located so centrally that they get the best out of the partners, the ecosystem partners, the hyperscalers, and they choose where, what's the best way to solve those business problems, and then they are doing it successfully. NatWest, Microsoft, NAB, I mean, all great examples of the GCCs, how they are absolutely making an impact to the not just the bottom line, but actually at the top line, and which is the most important thing in my mind.
I do find that very interesting. I remember in college and all, we used to read a lot about interdisciplinary studies and how crucial it is. I do feel like AI is finally bringing that to life, right? By removing all these silos so that someone's interested and they don't have the technical capabilities, but they have that smarts to them. They can, in fact, contribute, right, in today's world, which is quite amazing. Yeah. And if you have companies that actually promote that and reward those employees,
See, one thing that we are making sure in our organization is that our thought process is that we want to ensure that AI augments the human engagement and does not replace it. So that's something which is central to how we run the AI use cases and maximize the productivity.
Yeah, I think the layperson, some people might still be scared that we'll be replaced, but it doesn't look like that, like you said. Vikas, let's go from let's go from a UK bank to a Australian one. NAB India has gone through tremendous growth in its initial years itself. Congratulations on achieving this successfully. Can you share your perspective on scaling talent at speed to meet the demands of this digital reinvention? How easy or difficult has it been for you? And what levers would you advise other GCCs with similar aspirations? Which levels should they leverage?
Thank you. Our journey has been incredible. In the last 3 years, the progress that we have made has been tremendous. We were quite clear since beginning. Our foundation was made on the talent. We curated that what kind of talent we'll bring in the organization and how we are going to retain that talent by providing best-in-class experience and bringing best work to them. So, and then, around those foundations, we have Tech Academy, we have learning tools, and we have best opportunities for people. Now, there were two things how we started working on. One was around the operating model. So, when I say operating model, it is about end-to-end accountability and ownership of the work that you do. That drives passion. So, we were quite clear that when we are establishing teams, bringing work to people, so that accountability and end-to-end ownership is there. And that is driving that passion and energy in our teams. Second part of our strategy was that we are one bank. So India is just another location like Melbourne, Sydney, Vietnam, and any other location. So wherever we have best talent to do any work, we bring the work there. And we work on the same mission, same goals that any other location is working. So customer centricity is in our DNA. So we want to be, best customer centric company in Australia and New Zealand. And same goal is driving our people here in India. People, they own the work and they demonstrate, they use their experience and demonstrate the value. So scale for us is not just about the head count, but also about the work, the value that we are delivering to the bank and our customers. So that stands apart, and I think that has been the force behind our progress that we have made so far.
The depth of talent, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. What about when it comes to like an Australian bank? How do you manage that different cultural expectations of a Australian person banking versus an Indian person banking? It's a very different experience, right? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so it is, I would say it is diversity, right? Australia, I agree, has its own ways of banking, some regulations.
And they don't have
and
UPI also.
but they have different ways of banking, right? And here in India, people that we have brought in have so much experience. We have talent from so many different banks. We have talent from startups, like UPI you mentioned. And then we have talent that we have got from product companies. So if you use the diversity that we have, that can do the magic, right? And that is where we are realizing the value also. Our features that our customers are demanding there, and the experience that people bring in here from India, so that add a lot of value to our products which we are rolling out. So that is something which is quite powerful.
I remember speaking to multiple big financial institutions like JP Morgan, MasterCard. All of them were telling me the same thing, that their employees in GCCs in India were very good at figuring out new products and services for banking customers in US, Europe. I found that fascinating in the beginning, but when you think about how mature our banking and BFSI sector is in India, I think that, like you were also pointing, I think those are all factors, right? That
So NAB is a great example that at Accenture we quote, the setup which has grown up so fast, and the way it was thought through. I mean, I'm sure you guys must have had a lot of thinking behind packaging it as innovation center.
Correct.
And then starting, your first journey by having your design and architecture team sitting in India. That was super fascinating. I mean,
Yeah. And one thing I'd like to add here is, so when I said end-to-end accountability and complete team sitting, so that is where product owners also come into play. And when our team is working with product owners, so very recent example is around a strategy around migrants. So a lot of people from India, from China, from other nations, they move to Australia. So the people from India, they can give a lot of ideas to product owners, how to build new features, how to create that disruption and bring something to customers which they have never thought about.
Yeah. Supercharge, almost leapfrog the disruption, if that makes sense. Fascinating. Next, Pankaj, let's get you in. Let's get Microsoft in. Microsoft's global capability centers have recently announced major investments in strategic partnerships, ranging from massive AI data center expansion and $3 billion of cloud and AI investment in India to nationwide AI skilling programs and collaborations with education and government organizations. How is Microsoft GCC leveraging these engagements to drive technological innovation, AI adoption, and a future-ready digital workforce at scale?
So I would say the question that you have asked is driven by two things for us. The answer is, one is our purpose, the mission of the organization. The two words that you said are very interesting. One is the innovation and one is how you are doing this globally. The purpose of Microsoft or mission of Microsoft is how do we empower every individual, every person, every organization on the planet to achieve more, right? And whatever we do is actually around that. Now you take that and how it will manifest for a country like Bharat. I'm very intentionally using word Bharat, not India. Then it's very different. And I think that's where the India team is helping a lot. Let me give you an example and let me tell you a real story. Or I will say a lived experience. So if in this audience, if I ask, what is Jya Varg, Dhan Ko Jya Varg? I really want to hear if anyone can answer this. Right? Because in this country, English is not a language. English is a skill. If you don't have this skill, there are many things you can't do. And that is a problem of Bharat. Now if you take our mission and look at this problem, the first thing that we may want to solve is language. Now to answer what just I asked you is actually sin square theta plus cos square theta. Because I till 8th grade, I myself studied in Hindi medium school. So when I graduated and I trying to get into college, my challenge was not physics, chemistry, maths. My challenge was English. That how do I understand even the word which is written? Now, this is not my story. This is the story of millions of students in India. So what we did, first thing is, and some of you already mentioned that how you are doing localization and solving some of the banking problem for India versus Australia. Microsoft is like a huge global product. Everything is used by billions of people. Now, what we did is, for example, is we have something called Shiksha Go Pilot, which is around how do we ensure that we are bringing technology to students and teachers so that they can use it in a meaningful way. So this Shiksha Go Pilot started from Karnataka in a Kannada language, and the results were just amazing. The teachers are doing more meaningful, productive work. They are focusing on teaching rather than doing administrative job. They are able to create right lesson plans. And students, whoever is using that, the students are a lot more engaging. Now this is so true to our mission of empowering every person. Now let me take another story. Whenever we think about entrepreneurs, and if I say, hey, just close your eyes and imagine that person, it will be like one of us in this suit, sitting in Noida or Gurgaon or Bangalore. But in this country, the true entrepreneurship is not sitting in metros. They are coming from Indore, Ludhiana, Kochi, Nagpur, Banaras. What do we do about them? How do we, and AI has created a level playing field. You can create a product today you can almost have equal capabilities as any MNC in the world. Such a beautiful opportunity for every individual, every small startup to create a global impact. Why it is limited to large enterprises? Now what we do, so what we are doing about that? Recently we launched a program with IIT Delhi, which is called Unnati AI. And IIT Delhi is doing an amazing job in figuring out those startups who are solving real Bharat problem, coming from tier 3, tier 4 cities. We are not only providing funding is just one part of it, but we are hand-holding them in building right product, giving them right tech, so that they can stand against any MNC in the world. So these are some of the things that we are doing to ensure that how technology will reach to everyone, and then we are also true to our mission.
I think Pankaj's line of English is not a language, but it is a skill is going to be living rent-free in all of our heads for a while. Yeah. I also think Microsoft is lucky to have someone like you who can bring that perspective. I think it's absolutely crucial. Such an important company, let's not forget. So thank you for that, Pankaj. Ujjwal, let's come back to you. Collaboration with external partners, startups, and the broader ecosystem is increasingly becoming important for accelerating GCC impact, and I think collaboration is Accenture's DNA, right? I mean, that's why you guys exist. So can you share how Accenture's GCC leverages such partnerships to stay ahead of the curve?
So the fundamental of collaboration begins in the innovation architecture that we have at Accenture, which is so very central to how we look at our clients and how we look at our own self, which starts with a lot of research and development to begin with, that what's going to become pervasive in next 3 to 5 years, because that allows us to, ensure we are investing not just in the right acquisition, but also how we do or invest in our own learning and development. And that has allowed us to stay relevant in this industry, in this extremely competitive industry for many, many years. But it then also allows us to make certain choices in terms of how we forge collaboration, how we forge collaborations, incubate the startup, the fintechs, the regtechs, the edtechs of the world, who are kind of are emerging. We have made some of our maximum investments in setting up an innovation hubs across many cities in India. Bangalore one is one of the most powerful one. So we incubate a lot of startup ecosystem that allows us to also look at the cross-sectional of our client because of our far outreach across industry on what are the business problems that they are grappling with, what are the technology problems that they are grappling with. Can we create some sort of a innovation studio or where everybody from the clients, from the startup ecosystem, or from hyperscalers, can we all come together and solve for those business problem? Here the most important thing for us is to solve for that vis-a-vis whether it is being solved by Accenture or by the startup community. It's the power of all the three drives the business solution or the technology solutions. And obviously we have a massive scale where we can, once we have the minimum viable product of a solution, we have a massive delivery engine to scale it up and make it available to a lot of our clients, which is what we typically do. And then we continually work in that whole collaboration model where the primacy is to fail first, fail fast, where the supremacy is given to how can we collaborate and solve for the business problem vis-a-vis who's solving for it, where the importance is given that how we can make it more scalable and not just remain a innovation thing which can be showcased. Can it be made reusable for a client, across the client, across the industry? That's our mantra, and that has allowed us to remain extremely relevant in the industry.
And you can help them understand that, right? Whether something will work or not.
Yeah. So we have our business SMEs, we have our technology SMEs, we have the incubation. So think of a situation where you have these SMEs, the right assets, the right framework, the right sandboxes, where you are basically trying to democratize the experimenting, way of working or looking at a problem vis-a-vis innovation as a side stream pod. And that's how we bring innovation almost as a DNA, which is where I had started my conversation, that at Accenture we absolutely believe, while innovation may be a very overused word, innovation at the center is very heavy on us.
And it does seem like you've figured out the process for that, right?
We have kind of created that whole innovation architecture where we start anticipating the future to how we scale a solution.
Anticipating the future. That's probably the hardest thing to do, isn't it?
We try to.
Okay, excellent. We'll come back to some of these points later. Vikas, coming back to you, NAB in India was set up as a hub of innovation, right? So can you talk about your innovation journey? How do you embed innovation at the core of your culture? What strategies or approaches do you use to make innovation an integral part of your operations? And I'm sorry I said the word innovation too many times now. Please.
Yeah, so Ujjwal said it is overused word.
Too much.
See, innovation is in our name. NAB in India is NAB Innovation Center. So we are trying to keep it simple. We are trying to demystify this innovation. We are trying to establish the culture of innovation. And when I say that, it is not about creating, every time not creating something new. It is about challenging the status quo. It is about questioning in day-to-day work, in day-to-day job. It is about thinking out of box, that can we do it in a different way. So in our culture, we are trying to establish that people need to ask enough questions. They need to think out of box before they apply the solution. And they need to question enough to look at all the paradigms, all the solutions, all different available options before they approach the solution. And second thing that we are trying to do is, we are trying to create hub for proof of concepts. So we are not just dependent on hackathons and one-off session to innovate. Rather, we encourage people on day-to-day basis. If they see a problem, they are encouraged to do a proof of concept and show it, demonstrate it, that this can be done. And if something is successful, business cases are can be created out of it, and then they can be taken for implementation. So that's how we are approaching it.
No, that's very interesting that you talked about questioning and critical thinking, right? Which probably most people wouldn't. That wouldn't be the first thing they think about when they think about tech innovation, or right?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. What about the junior employees? Are they scared to speak up to their bosses, or do you specifically say you have to or you won't get a raise? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have started our grad program, and this year we have taken around 10% of our colleagues from colleges, and in India. So in our induction, we have a very solid induction program for them. The first thing that we talk about is don't stop questioning. And we say it enough number of times. And the first thing that we do during their induction is we give them a project where a problem statement is given, which is real life problem, and they experiment. They are free to bring in any solution that they want without we prescribing or putting any limits. So it is part of their induction, it is part of their training, so that they are set up for success.
Interesting. Let's look at the future a little bit now. The next 3 to 5 years, what does that look like? Amit, as NatWest operates as a mature global capability center, what are the essential directions or innovative strategies you envision for its next phase over the coming 3 to 5 years? How do you think these advancements will help the institution maintain its relevance and stay ahead of emerging trends in this ever-evolving financial services landscape?
Yeah. So Akhil, before I start to talk about India GCC's plan over the next 3 to 5 years, I think it is very important to understand the NatWest Bank's global ambition, right? Because whatever we do in India has to be in line with delivering on the NatWest Group's ambition. And the group's ambition for 2030 is very simple. It is that we want to win with our customers. So it says we want to win with our customers, because only if we would win only if our customers win. So we say that we want to win with our customers. And I think bank-wide we have 3 strategic pillars which will help us to achieve our ambition. It's very straightforward. We have grow, then we have simplify, and we have manage. So grow means that we want to grow all our 3 customer businesses in the chosen segments and chosen products. Simplify, we want to simplify our customer journeys and colleague journeys, and we want to simplify our data and technology landscape so that we are able to serve our customers better. That's the simplify part. And manage is, again, manage has a lens of managing our balance sheet and risk prudently so that we are able to free up the capital that is needed to invest into the customer businesses. So this is the global NatWest ambition and the 3 strategic priorities that I mentioned. Now, from an India GCC perspective, I think our aspiration is to evolve ourselves from being a delivery focused organization to the one where we are able to deliver real tangible value and innovation for the enterprise in line with the NatWest 2030 ambition. And I think we have figured out 3 things that we need to do from an India GCC perspective to move the needle on being a delivery value centric organization. So first thing is that we want to fortify the core, right? We want to be very brilliant at the basics. So those are things like we want to standardize and digitize the customer and colleague journeys. We want to identify opportunity areas to simplify our technology estate and our data estate. So this is all around fortifying the core, which is being brilliant at the basics. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we want to invest into what we call as future fit capabilities, right? So investing into the next generation capabilities and things like designing and delivering on the customer experience engineering capabilities. So things like, how do we improve our Net Promoter Score for the digital channels? So focusing on customer experience design and engineering capabilities, focusing on data. Data is a big one. We want to be the data powerhouse for the entire bank. And then lastly, AI. So we want to massively, we want to further increase the momentum on adopting the AI and Gen AI capabilities. So this is all around investing into the future fit capabilities, right? The third aspect, which is also very important, is we want to invest into the what we call as foundational enablers. So, and this is all around talent and culture. And when we think about talent and culture, I think there are three things that we think of, and partly Vikas has also mentioned some bits of it. The first thing is that we are heavily focused on creating a skilled workforce. Second is that we want to create global functional roles, because if you have a skilled workforce, you need to provide them crystal clarity on what their role is and what they are accountable for. So that's the second thing. And third is that we want to build a culture of well-being, inclusion. We want to ensure that every voice is heard. So aspects like those. So I think if we focus on these three things, fortifying the core, investing into future fit capabilities, and then investing into foundational enablers around talent and culture, I think we will deliver a lot of tangible value for the global enterprise.
When you were talking about data powerhouse, do you mean, are you teaching your employees to be better at collecting data? What do you mean?
So see, when I say we want to be the data powerhouse for the enterprise, we have a few things in mind here, right? So we want to further up the game on upskilling our employees in India on data engineering and data science skills, so that they are able to solve real business problems for the bank, which require data engineering and data science skills. And data is such a pervasive topic that there are so many data initiatives going on in the bank. We want to ensure that we have around 18,000 employees in the bank in India, right? 18,000 people in India. So we want to ensure that those people are completely aware of all the various data initiatives which are going on in the bank, and we want to enable them to drive innovation. And one thought that we also have is that we want to create reusable data products which different use cases in the bank can tap into. So that's what I mean when I say data powerhouse.
Interesting. Pankaj, coming back to Microsoft, what role has Microsoft IDC as a GCC been playing in the reinvention of Microsoft and its products globally? And what would be your suggestion to a new GCC, tech or otherwise, being set up in India regarding their goals and ambitions?
That's a great question. First of all, every time he was saying co-pilot, I was feeling
very happy.
He said 7 times. So I had 7 aha moment, and that's what exactly IDC do. So we are no longer extension. We are, I feel like we are yet another building. Doesn't matter which geo you are in. That's where IDC is. It's been 25 years now, and we are as good as our talent. Our impact is as good as any other building in the world. In fact, this organization has figured out a way to, this time zone difference, which sometimes creates a problem. We are using it to our advantage. For example, Our customers are everywhere. If you really want to make an impact, what you need to do is first know your customers. And especially for a product company, and for that matter, even service companies as well. Now we play a very critical role in doing that, given the time zone advantage. For example, a lot of countries in Europe, India, South Asia, we are so well connected, helping Microsoft building a very diverse product, because you have to bring those requirements and needs for this part of the world as well. For example, if this is the study that was done in India. It's a very simple insight, but was so important for us to understand, and that has changed the trajectory of how we build Office product. We asked one simple question to our user when we were doing research, that if you have $1,000, what will you buy? Which device you will buy? So in US they said, oh, we'll buy laptop. We asked the same question in India, he said, I will buy mobile. But when we asked, okay, if we give another $1,000, what will you buy? Person in US said, will buy mobile device. Person in India said, I will buy another mobile.
Okay.
Now, that just shows that how important mobile device is. And that is what we learned 10 years ago. And look at the trajectory of Office. It's everywhere, including mobile. Sitting in West, you may not realize the importance, how people are using, how this UPI is working, how you can go to any Nukkad and create your SIM card in less than 20 seconds. And all the compliance in place.
Exactly.
So these kind of innovations and everything can only come when only when you are connected with customers, and we always take advantage of that. Now what IDC is doing is, I would say that, let me take a very recent example. We are not lagging in terms of when we are AI transforming our company. We are part and parcel of this process from day one. As soon as the AI started in Microsoft, IDC was part of it. Whether you are thinking about model, where you are thinking about scenarios, where you are thinking about how to create this product, or how to use AI in our day-to-day job. Everything is, in fact, there are many areas where IDC is leading, lot of things. I am part of Office team, and I'm sure you all are using Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Most of those innovations coming from Noida. If today you have an ability, you give any topic and it can create PowerPoint for you. It's all done by developers sitting in Noida. You write a beautiful formula in Excel, or you do brand kits for your social media post. It's all done. All those teams are sitting here. So that is one thing I'll say, that we are, I would say, we own customers, we understand business, we know how to build product, we drive innovation like any other geo. So that is the first question that you asked. Now second question that you asked about, hey, what is the advice for any GCC? I would say that we establish ourselves because of 3 reasons. The first one is to understand that culture eat strategy for breakfast. It means that you have to have the right culture and one culture. You can't have India culture and US culture. It's one Microsoft culture.
Yes.
Right? And that you have to understand from day one. It cannot be the afterthought. So that is first thing. You ensure that you are living and breathing the same culture. Culture is not in document. Culture lives in hallways. So that is the first advice I would say. The second thing is about talent. There was a time, and probably might be true for many GCCs, where India was considered because of the cost reason. And maybe that's a good starting point. But that is not a sustainable model. If you have one employee in India and if you have one employee in US, it's always a value conversation. What is the value that you are creating for the company? What is the value you are creating for the customer? And so if you are playing only on the cost equation, it won't last for long, and then you will not have, as many of my friends talk about, that ultimately you need to have a clear accountability. And what we summarize this everything as, we all need sense of purpose. And that sense of purpose comes when you solve the real world problem, which really utilize the talent that you have, has enough complexity and that satisfy your learning need and as well as your professional need. So I would say culture, super critical, having the right set of talent, and thanks to a lot of good educational institute in India, we are able to get to the right set of talent. And the third thing I would say is a value conversation. It's not a cost conversation. And last thing I would say that the way we actually achieved this is by seeding right set of people at the very beginning. The leaders that you are, have in the organization, they should understand all these three aspects so that they create the right culture, and then everything will fall in place.
Okay, that's fascinating, Pankaj. Before we come to the last two questions, I do want to go back to one point what both Ujjwal and Pankaj were talking about, that aspect of meaningfulness for employees, and what you were talking about, all these Indians in smaller towns, the kind of opportunities. It does seem like GCCs are able to train a large amount of people as well, right? And then these people can now go and teach other people. I think that's also a factor. Ujjwal, can you maybe help us understand a little bit about how that translates, how all these GCCs are helping even with that part of it, that expertise part of it as well?
So we'll have to look at it from the talent which are millennials and talent which are pre-millennials, like most of us. But the millennials, it is so very difficult to keep them engaged if you don't give them food for food to experiment, food to think complex problems, food to assert them, food to challenge the status quo, which existed even pre that phase. I don't want to be mean to any one of us,
But yeah,
but it
things
is
have
more
changed,
so ingrained. So if you are an enterprise, and this is for people who are listening to us, if you are an enterprise and you are thinking to set up a GCC in India, and like Pankaj was mentioning, if that GCC is being set up only for cost purpose, you must reconsider. If you are an enterprise who have a GCC and who's only doing low and low complexity work, please reconsider, disrupt that business, because any which ways the millennials won't come and work for you. Right. And this is what the advice that we typically give. GCC is a fascinating play. I mean, this is absolutely on the uptake. Skill is something that is being talked a lot about it, but at the center is the value, and that value has to be thought by the enterprises and the GCC leaders like you all.
Pankaj, I'll be honest, I really hope that one of the advantages of having all of these GCCs is that we train a lot of Indians in all the best technology and give them the best processes, and then they go out into those smaller towns and help others. I wrote a story a few months ago about this findability sciences, how that's the founder came back to his city in Gujarat, to a small town, and he set up offices there simply to set up an office for AI talent in a small town in Gujarat, and he was successful at it. But he said it wasn't easy. He had to spend 2 years painstakingly training each of his 100 employees. It was, as he described it, it was a painful process, but the end result was unbelievable. Basically, 100 people's lives were completely changed, and they are now excellent AI engineers and who are completely capable for the future. So I always think that is one of the best parts. Maybe you can help us understand, is that realistic? Will that happen?
No, it's happening as we are talking. So we are committed, if I remember that number right, to train 2 million people this year. And we are on our journey. I think we are doing really well on that. In fact, last month on a single day we trained 18,000 students about AI. So I would say, given hope many people will get to this, I would say there are two aspects of this learning. One is those who need to learn has to accept there is a lot of, while we are talking about AI, but if you really, talk to many people, those who really should learn this, or they should, keep improving themselves, so that as we always talk about that AI will never take your job, but person who know AI will take your job, right? So it means you need to learn, and then there need to be acceptance that this is a new revolution which is unavoidable. We can, rather than considering it as a threat, if people see this as an opportunity, then lot of door will open.
Exactly.
So that is first, I think that is is super needed before anyone come and trying to help. On the training side, of course, as I said, we are committed to train 2 million people, and these are the people from colleges, as we talked about. These are the health workers, these are teachers, and lot of first line workers who really need to know this, and we are hoping that this will create a wave. These 2 million people will help other people in doing that. That is one, and I think on the product front as well, AI is so beautiful that you don't need anyone actually. It is like, I would say, simpler than social media. So if people can use our all social media thing, I think AI itself is such a beautiful tool, and the language problem has already been solved for a large extent. So I think we have all the setup. Everyone has mobile, everyone has lot of data, and everyone has AI in their device almost. And it's not, right now at least it's free for consumers, most of the consumers. So I think, of course, we have to do our job. We have to keep pushing, training people, and at the same time, I think our bigger role is to provide access to people for the AI thing.
Yeah,
that's where we are playing.
Only thing to add, what is to be taught to some of the generations who are going to use is to how to use it in a responsible manner.
Yeah.
Where there is no bias, where it is secured for an enterprise like which are highly regulated, where all the data that shouldn't go to a black box or a outside of your organization, there are levers to stop doing it. I think it's not the AI. AI will be picked up by many. It's the some of these aspects that absolutely requires all of us to be taking a lead and taking a role to make sure people understand it, the future generation understand how to use it in a responsible and safe and secure manner. Yep.
Okay, excellent. I'd love to hear all of your perspectives now on how GCCs should evolve to stay impactful. What do you see as the critical success factors in the first year versus the second or third year, for example? Is year one about building capabilities and trust, while later years focus on scaling AI-driven solutions or expanding scope? How should leaders balance quick wins with long-term strategic goals to ensure GCCs deliver on that global innovation agenda? Some of these points. Who wants to start first? Amit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for GCCs to stay relevant, I think that was the first question.
Like when the first year and versus the second year.
Yeah.
As soon as they set up, what should they do?
So I would say that I think the first principle that I would outline for GCCs to stay relevant, and this is something which has been, I might be reiterating because many of my friends have conveyed this already, which is that GCCs need to focus on delivering real tangible value and stop thinking about scaling based on headcount, right? So that should be the focus. And I think the next step, once you agree on that founding principle, the next step would be to think about some of the KPIs that you would need to define so that you can measure the tangible value that you're delivering, right? So some of those KPIs could vary. I mean, KPIs could be, let's say you have a number of friction points in the customer and colleague journeys, right? So you might have a KPI where you want to reduce the number of those friction points in the customer and colleague journeys. You could have mobile app ratings as another KPI which you want to make improvements on. Net Promoter Score is another KPI that you want to make improvements on. So yeah, so once you have defined the KPIs, then I think the next question would be that how can you move the needle on making improvements on those KPIs? And I think there are many things that you can do, but I think there are 3 things which I feel which are very important to make tangible improvements on these KPIs. The first is having a very strong skilled workforce, having a very strong and high performance culture. So that's the first thing, right? The second thing I would say is that you need to establish credibility through delivery, through quick wins, through delivery, because you can do all the talking, but if you are not delivering, and so 2 things, right? One is that you need to deliver, and second is that you need to take your global stakeholders along with yourself. So establishing credibility through delivery is the second thing I would want to highlight. The third is having a very strong focus on innovation, right? And I think there are things which I talked about earlier, which was related to moving the needle on improving customer experience, investing in data, investing in AI. So these are 3 things I would say. And I would not, you can create a multi-year roadmap where you say that year 1 you will focus on this, year 2 you will focus on that. But I think the focus right at the outset has to be around delivering tangible value, and that has to be the endeavor right at the outset from day 1.
That high excellence bar that you were talking about, how do you achieve that? Is it like a carrot and stick approach?
No, so I think, there are a number of things that you can do. So you can, to start with, you can acquire, when you are acquiring talent from outside the bank, that's step 1, right? So you need to be very clear on what kind of talent do you want to bring in. So like in NatWest in India, we have identified a list of tier 1 institutes who we are going to recruit. So that's early talent. But then at the same time, for your existing talent, you could do a number of upskilling and reskilling programs to ensure that they are well equipped to take on meaningful work. So I think these are 2 things which I can think of.
Of course. Vikas, jumping on to you.
Yeah, so I think first year or first couple of years are foundational years. So those are the years where we need to build very strong foundation. So when I say those strong foundations, in those years we need to create an environment, create the culture of belongingness. You bring the talent, bring the right talent, but people, our colleagues, they should feel that they belong to the organization and organization belongs to them. Once people get into that zone of thought process, their thinking is about that I own this company belongs to me, then then it is unstoppable. Now once you have established that culture, after that your foundations are strong, then it is about any other location of that organization. I feel that this GCC conversation should finish in next couple of years, right? It should be any other location. So we should be part of that overall system, overall organization, and we should not be distinguished as GCC.
No need.
So I think based on those foundations and you start delivering value, I think those boundaries will be gone.
Fascinating. Ujjwal, you want to take up?
I think the year 1 should be to get to the critical mass, deliver the business case. I think that's, but it is definitely not about headcount. So once you have the, critical mass, the point that Vikas was just now making. How can you bring them or make them become part of the strong culture or the family that you belong to? And then there's the journey starts. Once they become ingrained to the culture, to the enterprise, the journey basically begins from there. But it is definitely not about the head count. You won't believe, but while we talk about the GCCs and the impact they are creating, there are only about 8% of the GCCs who are really making a real impact to the enterprise. Just 8%. I'm talking more India. This is based on one of the Accenture research. And which is where I think a lot of GCC leaders, they can't think beyond headcounts. So we are 5,000, we are 10,000, we are 15,000. But somewhere in that whole journey, they miss the point that most of my distinguished panelists were saying, that it is the value which is more important, it is the purpose which is more important, it is the belongingness which is more important. So once you have the critical mass, once you have delivered to the business case of year one, the journey then begins to add more meaningfulness, add more belongingness and overall value.
No, well said. Pankaj?
I mean, most of the things are said. I will say.
Sorry, I asked you last.
No, that's
the
okay.
hardest part.
That's okay. Then it's easier.
Pankaj is a good storyteller. I just realized.
So the way I look at this problem is on two axes. What are you doing, and how are you doing? How we all talked, right? It's about in the same culture, because you are achieving business goals, but how you are achieving will decide your durability. And you have to live the same culture. I mean, we all talked about that. So that part is there. Now, what part is where sometime, in my opinion, GCC get impatient. Oh, I want to do meaningful work. I want to own the business. I want to have the seat on the table for decision making. Nothing will come for free. Nothing will. It's a journey. It will come by building trust, by delivering value, by owning customers, understanding them, and then complementing rest of the geos that you have. So the way we describe all of this is that you should have a owner mindset, not the ownership mindset. If you are the owner, you will do whatever is needed to make business successful. Now to make your business successful, whether you have to go for an on-call engineering or you have to do fixing some bugs, I'm mostly talking from IT perspective, or you have to learn AI, or you have to create innovation. You have to do everything. And whatever is needed, whatever is the need of the hour, go deliver that. Once you build that trust, I think who in the world will, no manager or no leader in the world, given that cost pressure that we have, everyone would like to utilize their talent to their best. If you can bring right innovation, you are welcome. But you have to earn it. Nobody will give you that. So that is one thing. The only thing I will say, for the first year question that you asked, I think it's a challenge or the recipe has changed post-COVID. Most of if you are establishing GCC today with work from home in place, you will have to figure out a new ways of creating belongingness.
Yeah.
Because right now you are not in campus. I have seen employees, those who have never come to offices, they have joined. You have to really figure out innovative ways to create belongingness for them also. So that's I would say for new GCC, it will be a very new challenge.
Yeah.
We have not faced that, but I think for new GCC, it will be a very different level of challenge. That how do you ensure that your remote employees feeling the same way and living the same culture?
Yeah, that's a very important point. Anyone else want to add to the remote employees? And if you face that issue?
So we have maintained a balance, right? So
you allow employees to work from home.
Yeah, so we offer that flexibility to our colleagues. They can work from home, and for a new GCC, I think it is important that when we are building teams, they need to collaborate, they need to come together. So it is important for them to see face to face, and it is important part of our culture and that high performing culture. That people, they come few days and collaborate, and then they enjoy the flexibility few days to work from home and deliver from there.
I think it makes a huge difference if you've already set up your GCC before the pandemic or not, right?
Yeah.
That is a factor. If you've already set it up before, then it's not as big. But today, if you suddenly set up a GCC and half your people are work from home,
Yeah,
It's
no,
an
I
interesting challenge. Yeah.
it's an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in NatWest India, we do have a hybrid work arrangement that we offer to the employees. But I think it is important to sensitize the employees, especially employees who were there prior to COVID, because they have already relationships set up with their colleagues, right? But after COVID, people who have joined after COVID and they have used to this hybrid work arrangement, it is important, and those are mostly people who have joined from, let's say, campuses or who are low tenured, who have less number of years of work experience. I think it is important to sensitize the experienced employees to know the importance of in-person interactions, and so I think that's an important aspect.
And especially just knowing your colleagues, right? I think that's something that you miss. I know from my own perspective, during COVID, if anyone new joined Times of India, I don't know them. I can only realize who they are later.
Yeah.
So now closing thoughts, closing bites, let's say, from all of you. Just a quick 5 to 10 seconds. What do you want the people watching us to remember from this conversation?
If you're a GCC leader and watching us, please make sure you measure what matters beyond headcount. I think that will be one thought that I would like you all to take. If you are managing a talent, while we talk about hyper-personalization of customer, right now the talent is the hotcake. Hyper-personalization on talent, if they want to work from home and if you think they should work from office, please speak to them. They need to be taken care of because talent is at premium right now. If you do two of these things, measure what matters and take care of your talent, you'll be a successful GCC.
Vikas?
Yeah, so on top of what Ujjwal has said, it is about purpose and clarity. So continuous focus on your purpose and clarity, and eliminating the boundaries of that we are a separate organization or a separate GCC. It is one organization. So we have to just focus on our purpose and continuously provide clarity to our people. That will set us for success.
Please.
I'll say, in continuation of that, how do you achieve that? I'll say tightly coupled planning and loosely coupled execution will give you clarity and highest velocity. And if you are a leader of GCC, I would say that stay humble but very confident.
Amit, closing thoughts for you?
Yeah, I mean GCCs are at a unique vantage point and at the intersection of global strategy and local execution. So I think focus on delivering real tangible value, which is in line with the global strategy and the global company's ambition. I think that's the key thing.
Okay, then thank you to all of you. That brings to a close this Drivers of Reinvention panel brought to you by Accenture and Times Techies. Thanks everyone, especially to these 4 extremely wise, seasoned professionals who have helped us understand this complex topic. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.